Hello, this is H.C. Bailey, and welcome to the finale of Let's Play Breath of Fire! For the final battle here, I'm just going to show you Ryu's setup. You get the Earth Robe on him to absorb elemental damage, just like last time, but perhaps more importantly, now I've got the Broken Sword equipped on him. If you do that and you beat the game, you get a little Easter egg. Not that it's really that great, but well, I figured I'd just show you anyway. It's nice. I mean, it doesn't hurt the ending. It's nice to have, so figured, let's go do that then. So let's go meet Tyr, the goddess of destruction. I like how it comes full circle with the music that they had at the beginning of the game there. Nice touch, game. Oh, it's just a little girl here. Yes I did. Booty! Or that. Well, I heard it works that way with the prostitutes in Grand Theft Auto. Not that I would know. Okay, well, let's get at it. Nah, just kidding, viewers. Just kidding. Yeah, as you can see, it also restored our AP, even though the message didn't say that. So, I'm here to kick your ass! Invade your inner sanctum. Sounds vulgar. For boss time against the goddess herself. Now, this part of the fight, I'll just tell you, it's scripted. You pretty much just go all out, and she just sits on her ass and doesn't do a whole lot. Oh well. Well, while we're waiting for the guys to kill her, one thing I wanted to mention was if you accept Jade's offer to join him, he'll eventually have you fight some monsters, like a court jester, I guess, or something. And there's some monsters that you can't fight anywhere else in the game, unless you fight them that way. But I don't think they're really that interesting. So I figured, I might show it. Nah, it's not that interesting. So I figured, let's just skip that. If you guys want to see it, great. You know, play the game yourself. It is called Let's Play for a reason. But yeah, I'm not going to show that. Oh, well, okay. I guess we had you all wrong. No, just kidding. Anything? No. But thou must. Aw, let's be friends. Now, I think if you don't have Agni at this point in the game, because it is optional, if you don't have it, I don't think that message happens. I think Sarah just says, yeah, she'll fool you with her innocent looks, and that's that. She won't even tell you about Agni. I think. I forget. I didn't do it during any of my test runs, like failing to get Agni, so I could be wrong. I just remember that from my childhood, but that was so long ago. So I don't know. So anyway, you could fight the goddess here, normally, if you don't have Agni, and you'll get the bad ending if you do that. And it does take a long time to kill her. Or you can use Agni. Now I want to use an acorn on Ryu, so that way I'll be able to cast Agni again. But anyway, yeah, with the Earth Robe on him, he'll just absorb any magical damage that goes in on him, and use Agni. It triggers the next parts. How are you going to do that? With your hair on fire? For final boss time against Tyr herself. Now, this battle, I'm just going to be using Agni, same as before. How am I going to beat a final boss with 4 penises like that? Yeah, unfortunately, they don't have unique final boss music here, but oh well. It is really cool music, though, so at least they kept it cool. So anyway, her first wind is pretty easy to deal with there. Second wind, not so much, so I'm just gonna fast forward through this. Yeah, she's got like almost 30,000 HP. It's ridiculous. So, yeah. It's just going to take a while. Some people were asking me, HC Bailey, why are you fast forwarding through the boss fights now at this point in the game? Because, I mean, you're just kind of blasting through them. And, well, that is true. I am doing that. The reason is because, really, I mean, look at what's happening. I'm hitting her, she's hitting me. I'm hitting her, she's hitting me. I mean, oh yeah, you want to heal up when your HP gets below 300. But yeah, I mean, there's really not a whole lot to the final 3 boss fights. I mean, even if I didn't use Agni, well, if I did use it, well, using Agni, it's like this. You know, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. It would just be slower. If I didn't do that, what's the alternative? I would be, okay, let's say I have Ryu transform into Rudra, use Marble 1, Karn transform into Puka, use Marble 1, I could have Nina use the Star Hammer on the load-bearing final boss, and Blue would use Bolt X, and maybe have Nina heal every now and then, and that would pretty much be it for about 15 minutes. Which I just think is way too long for any boss fight. 5 minutes tops. Nuts. Yeah, not a whole lot we can do there. So yeah, I just thought it was best just to fast forward the fight because I just don't think the final 3 boss fights are really that interesting. So I figured, let's just move along then. I mean, at least earlier in the game, they had like changing AI scripts or some healing or maybe even a little bit of buffing or switching characters or whatever. I mean, yeah, it wasn't like anything extraordinary, but it was at least something. I mean, the final 3 bosses here just didn't really have anything to them, so I figured, well, let's just kind of fast forward through them then. New Legend of Breath of Fire! Well, thank you, Sarah. Luna! Sarah! You know, I forgot to mention it when Tyr calls us humans. You know, technically none of us are human. I was mentioning that earlier. Because Karn is, well, I'll just tell you, he's not human. Because of all of his fusion stuff and everything. I think he's technically considered clanless, but he's not human. I forget. And Ryu's a dragon, and, well, everyone else is definitely not human. So, I don't know what Tyr was talking about. I mean, shouldn't she know? I mean, she created everything, didn't she? But, well, I guess we gotta rebuild the world then. I kind of wish they had an interactive ending with this game. Oh well. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Most endings aren't interactive, but I kind of like how they do that in the Dragon Quest games. Any other RPGs do that? I can't really think of any off the top of my head. I just thought of it. Like, I'm not scripting anything here. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Where's my money? Where's my money? Well, we don't need your gills anymore. Take them back. I want a refund. We couldn't even use that one fusion by the time we got the gills. Or the sphere, I mean. What was that one? Whatever it was. I never use it. It's not worth it. So. Aww. Well, let's return everyone home, then. I do like how they do that here, at least. Let's reflect on the adventure. It's been a long time coming getting into the Breath of Fire series, but, well, I've finally done it. So let's return Mogu home. I almost forgot his name for a moment there, because I hardly ever use him. Yeah, he's got a badass looking turban there, but he's still useless. I mean, a turban isn't everything. You can't just put on a turban and then say, hey, I'm a badass guy. I guess we gotta return Blue to her sleep. Yay! Ox is a father. Now he has a little Oxmoan. You know, now that I think about it, shouldn't Tyr have known who Blue was? In the Japanese version? I would think so, because I thought they said something about her, Blue being the one who sealed her away, or something like that. But, like, that didn't, like, make it into our version. Maybe that's another Breath of Fire game, I don't know. I haven't played any of the other games in the series, but I am interested. Let's pay our respects to the giant freaking robots. Bo, shouldn't you be going back to the forest? I suppose there's not really a town for you to go back there, but you should rebuild and everything. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna walk back now. Goodbye, Nina. Or I could just go to Camelon where they have a statue of me. You see on the left side there? Hey, it's Chun-Li doing 100 kicks, or whatever her move is called. But yeah, if you have the broken sword equipped on Ryu, well, you get that little Easter egg there, so that's a nice little touch. I like it. That's just creepy, Ryu. Quit dreaming about your sister. Alright, let's watch the credits roll. If you got the bad ending, you pretty much skip everything up to now. It just goes straight to the credits. They say, like, yay, we defeated the goddess, and then they go to the credits. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. At the end, they show the goddess, who apparently has survived after all, and her hair turns on fire and saying, ha ha ha, or whatever. Yeah, it's totally not worth showing. I mean, there's nothing to it. Wolfie! Okay, well, let's do a review for the game. For the graphics, I'd give them an 8 out of 10. I thought they were pretty good for the time. You got that isometric view during the battles there, little cutscenes with some animation. It's pretty impressive for a Super Nintendo game at the time. Characters were more than just the tiny sprites that you had in, like, Final Fantasy 1 through 5 or the early Dragon Quest games or anything like that, so that was a nice touch there too. You have huge boss monsters and everything. You actually show the characters attacking each other as opposed to just being on one side of the screen and then the enemies are on the other side of the screen and they just flail their swords at each other or whatever. So I really like that. For the music, I'd also give it an 8 out of 10. Got some really distinct style to the music, or the sound fonts. Something I haven't heard in other video games, so I really like how they did that. Got a lot of epic tracks and some pretty exciting boss themes. Yeah, he kind of reminded me of the Yellow Devil in Mega Man. But yeah, so I really liked it. I mean, the only thing I could say about the music is that it just seemed... it just didn't really get any emotion from me. I mean, in order to get like a 9 or a 10 out of 10 in my book, you gotta get me emotional a little bit. And, Breath of Fire just didn't have that. But I think that's probably more reflective of the story than the plot, or the story than the music, probably. So, whatever. Not a big deal, but I'm just saying. And for the plot, I'd also give it an 8 out of 10. One thing I really like about the plot to the game, I mean, yeah, the main characters are bland and two-dimensional. I mean, there's nothing to them. But the thing I really like about it is that it wasn't just like, you go to one town, solve a problem, and then forget about them for the rest of the game. Then go to the next town and do the same thing, and then forget about it for the rest of the game, like, say, the first Lufia game. And I like how you're always constantly dealing with the Dark Dragons. I mean, not so much Zog or Jade, but you're dealing with his ambitions to take over the world, and eventually you deal with Jade's lieutenants and Jade himself. So I really liked how they did all that. I mean, obviously it's nothing extraordinary, but I think it's above average. And for the battle mechanics, I'd give them a 7 out of 10. I think they're pretty average. I mean, they got some nice ideas there, a little bit of buffs and debuffs, but again, nothing extraordinary. Nothing bad about them. You didn't have to grind at least, but there's just not a whole lot to it. So, oh well. like especially the final 3 bosses. So overall, I'd give Breath of Fire 1 an 8 out of 10. I think it's a pretty above average JRPG. Not the greatest, not the great of all time, but still pretty good. Oh, and by the way, I know a lot of you were asking me about some other games. Breath of Fire 2, I am certainly interested in. I have never played it before, but I certainly want to try to get into it. So I hope you've enjoyed Let's Play Breath of Fire as much as I've had making it. This is H.C. Bailey, signing off. Have a good day, and see you next Let's Play.